politely was make the case about where this nominee is. She wouldn't even answer if she knew that Donald Trump's position was to try to get judges on who were in favor of striking down the Affordable Care Act. She wouldn't answer our question. So I got to look at the tracks. As I said the other day, up in northern Minnesota, we follow the tracks. We follow the tracks, the deer tracks, to see where the deer went. So all I'm left is with her tracks. And what her tracks showed me was that she blatantly criticized Justice Roberts for his argument, his legal reasoning for upholding the Affordable Care Act. She then goes and says she thinks that Scalia has a stronger argument in another case, which had upheld the Affordable Care Act, but Scalia's on the other side. She then takes on precedent that had been set for long that felons shouldn't be able to possess guns, as Senator Durbin got out. That's another track that I followed down that way. She then signs on to a paid newspaper ad that refers to Roe v. Wade as barbaric on the anniversary of Roe v. Wade. Okay, that's another track. You can have different views on the issue, but this is what I'm left with and what the American people are left with to look at the tracks. So I just don't think you can separate this from the election that we are in. So that is why I think it is a plan to talk about things like dormant commerce clauses so we can get away from what the real world repercussions are of this judge and of doing this to the American people in the middle of an election. But do I come out of this, as I said, as Justice Ginsburg would say in her dissents, that they were blueprints for the future as opposed to, as someone once said, cries of defeat? I don't come out of this for the cries of defeat. You know why? Because it's motivating more people to vote. You chose to do it in the middle of election, so let's all go out there and vote. That is what's happening, because this should not be Donald Trump's judge. This is your country, I say to the American people, not Donald Trump's, and this should be your judge, not Donald Trump's judge, and they are watching.
Thank you, and I'll recognize somebody on our side after I have a moment. We'll keep talking here. So number one, the tracks were clear to me when it came to Justice Sotomayor and Kagan. I didn't need a bloodhound to tell me where they were going to go. I understood, based on their writings and their philosophy, they would be with a liberal majority most of the time. They have been. I wasn't surprised at all. I accepted that as the outcome of President Obama's selection. But it was equally obvious to me, Senator Klobuchar, that whatever personal opinions they have, I'm sure I didn't even ask them for a pro-choice. Do you think it would be hard to follow the tracks of Justice Ginsburg? She worked for the ACLU. She was a prominent, progressive thought leader. She openly talked about her pro-choice views, and she had every right to hold them. And she was true to herself. And when the Senate voted, they knew they were getting someone very special, but from a conservative point of view with a completely different philosophy. And the Senate saw the same thing in Scalia. How much tracks did you need to figure out that Scalia would be an originalist? And the bottom line with Judge Barrett, like Sotomayor and Kagan, she's somebody that a Republican would pick. Republicans generally look at people of a disposition like Judge Barrett. Democrats generally look at people of a disposition like Justice Sotomayor and Kagan. Y'all have a good chance of winning the White House. I don't know where the polls are going to be.
Thank you for acknowledging that.
Yeah, I think it's true. I think the public will go into the voting booth and they'll say, okay, I've seen the kind of judges Democrats will nominate. I've seen the kind of judges Republicans will nominate. And that will be important to people. I think that Judge Barrett is exactly the kind of person that you would expect any Republican president to consider, not because